Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Today we are carrying on with our studio and we're going to make a keyboard. So the X is 1, the Y is 0.3 and the Z is 0.1 to begin with. Just so we've got an outline of our keyboard. We're going to shift duplicate on the Z. These are going to be the keys. So the keys are 0.023, 0.15, and then we just eyeball the height. Where's my mouse gone? My mouse cursor sometimes disappears. And then we're going to generate an array. And we want 36, 1.01, 1.05, there we go. And we can just bring those across, eyeball where we think it's going to go. About there, I reckon. Bosh. So that's where they will go. And then we're going to shift D on the Z. We're going to remove this. Next, we're going to make this smaller because these fit in between. So we'll just fit them in like this. Like so. And then we're going to shift D on the X. So these we've got to do a different way. Shift D on the X. So we miss a space. And now we've got to have a third one. And what we can do is copy these 5. Shift D on the X. Miss one. Bosh. You can just copy all these ones now. Shift D on the X. Got to miss one. And then hopefully we should just get one more set in there. Shift D on the X. Yes. So that's all the black keys done and all the white keys. Obviously, don't worry, it just needs a bit of editing. So what we're going to do now is just push this down a little bit. It's about there. And then select all these keys. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put them down on the Z. And then edit the base of the keyboard to give it a bit more shape. So we can put those there. Now on here, we're going to do a couple of loop cuts. 1, 2. We're going to select this one, bring it on over like so. This one, bring it on over like so. Now what we can do is, we need the loop cut here as well. Control R. About there. So then what we'll do is we'll select number 3, select these faces, and then we can just extrude on the Z. Like so. But I'm pretty sure we will need to do number 2 there and the number 2 there, and just angle that down a wee bit. Maybe select that one as well. No. Oh, that's it. So we're going with fully weighted keys. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to do a loop cut here on the horizontal. Just move it up. And number 3, we're going to extrude on the Y. Like so. So these ones, let's just give it a little bit of color. New, white. These are going to be new, black. And then we can just Let me just put a little bit of color in. There we go. That's a bit better. We can see what's occurring, and then we can just drag that onto into these keys. So these are your sharps and your flats. Oh, nearly went on the other one then. Ah. If you've played a keyboard before, then you'll know. If you haven't, well, you know now. I only dabble, but I've always wanted an FA06. I've got a Chrome 61, but for some reason, Roland, for me, in my head, are a better. I'll probably start a war now of who's better. So this will be, again, right, what I've done is on here, what we're going to do is Control A and reset the scale. Okay, and then I'm going to create a new material, and then we're going to give it an image. I've taken the image, I've copied an image. Right, so just going to change this to an image and pull my image in, okay? Right, what we're going to do now is assign our image just to this top layer here. Like so, and then we're going to go into we're going to edit the properties. So we've got our UV editor. We're going to select A and scale. I'm going to G. Need to scale on the X. G to move it over slightly. Now, what is going on? Ah, Control A, scale, UV, smart UV, unwrap, A, G, rotate 90, scale. We need to rotate Z 180. And then scale on the X. Oh, scale on the Y. G. Scale X. And there we've got it almost. We just need to scale on the X slightly down. And then G. Just need to make it fit nicely. Bosh. That's the cheating way to do it. You could leave it like that if you wanted, and then you're done. Tell you what we do need to do is just select all these and then group them so the keyboard is just in one folder rather than scattered everywhere. Nothing worse than having scattered objects. So we'll just come over to here. So we've got all those there. We just select M, new collection, keyboard, RARD, create. So now our keyboard is there, bosh. And then we can select all objects, and then we can just move it over slightly. But what we want to do, I mean, if you're happy like that, then by all means, you can be happy. But for it to be 3D, which it's not, it's just flat, we need to add in some bits and pieces now, bits and knobs and buttons. So we're going to start with the knobs. We're going to start with a cylinder, scale it all the way down like so. And we're going to move it over to where we need it. Scale it right the way down. So there. Down a bit more. We can still use the graphics, like the orange outer, the orange glow there. Like that. But what we're going to do now is go to Edit, Control R, give it a loop cut. Oh, we don't need to give it a loop cut actually. What we're going to do is number 2, Alt, select top rim, Control B to bevel. Come out of there, do Control A to scale. Control scale. Control B, like so. And then ramp up the segments. And that gives us Uno Nobo. Create it like so. Let's do a top-down view. And then we can just Shift D on the X just to move these across. Shift D on the X. Again, Shift D on the X. Bosh. So that's those ones done. We got another one there. Shift D on the Y. So let's go with the top-down view just to get it into place there. And make that a little bit smaller. Like so. Bosh. And Shift D on the X. Let's take it over. Does anyone else play any musical instruments? Let me know in a comment what you play. When I play saxophone, and I don't play keys, I just dabble. You know, I can just like crank out a tune with chords. Let's create another cube, scale it down. We're going to create all the buttons now. Let's get right on in there. So we need small, teeny tiny buttons. Like so. Is that the right size? No, it's a little bit scale on the X. And again, just move it across. Scale on the X, I just need to get it to the right size like that. That'll do. I'm presuming these are, I've probably got a bevel on them as well. So what we're going to do is Control A, scale, edit, select that top face, and Control B. Actually, I think they might only have a bevel at the front and the back. Control B. So number 2, hit the front one and the back face edge, and then bevel, something like that. And then give it a material. Again, it will just be kind of that. Maybe push it down a bit like so. Shift duplicate on the X. All we've got to do now is duplicate these buttons to wherever they need to be. Shift D on the X. So as you can see, we've got plenty of Shift D on the X. And down. Right, so here we have a lot of square buttons. So let's just Shift A, cube, scale that right the way down. Right, that much. And then scale, just move it around so it's more or less in place. And then again, we can Shift duplicate to get these buttons. And then Shift duplicate on the Y, like so. And again, and again. And these ones have got an emission on them, so we're going to give it a, like, look, a pinky, sort of that colour. But we're going to change it to an emission because it's got a bit of a glow, like that. And then I'm going to crank that to 3 maybe. And then all we have to do is just that. Put the material on those. Oops. Just drag it over. So they're all the same colour. What I'm going to do is just duplicate, Shift D on the X. Bosh. And Y. Right, so that's a smaller button. Like so. And I think those are the same. Yeah. Oh. Shift duplicate on the Y. Let's just move it down a bit. Select those because I think they need to be moved over a wee bit. Like there. And maybe we just need to pull those buttons down. So they come just above. I think they're like rubber buttons, so they've got to come down like that. And I think here we have a velocity wheel, which I think is just a cylinder. We'll do a Shift A, cylinder, too big, scale it down, G, scale. And then we need to rotate on the X by 90, scale it in, scale it down. And then it comes over here. So a little cheeky little top view, scale it down. And then I'm pretty sure if we select 2 faces, extrude on the Z, I think that's like, change that to black. Be a bit too big. I never like that. Maybe it's a bit too small. That kind of goes here somewhere. There might even be like a little recess. Whoop. So Control R to scale them in on the Y, kind of like that. And Control R to scale them on the X. And then I think that can be extruded on the Z. Doesn't need to be by much. So then that just fits in there like that. Bosh. And let's just bring those back up. So that was done a bit. There we go. And that is our keyboard. Let me see what bits we haven't. Oh, yeah, there we go. We got it. So if we select, see what, hell yeah, that. I think we need to the key a bit too high up. So we're going to select the keys. Just bring them down a smidge. Oh, maybe they just look a little bit too thick. Not right. See what the render. These look a little too big. Maybe they don't have a bevel. Maybe what need is a bevel. Needs something on there for sure. I'm just going to select these edges and then Control B. Oh, Control A for scale. Control B. Maybe they're too wide. So what's that? 0.1.0138. Copy, paste. So that's what we do. I think they just look a little bit out of place. So we'll just go through these and then just copy in our 0.0138. I'll just fast forward this. All right, that's them all thinned out. Yeah, I mean, that looks better. Have a look. See, something's definitely missing. I can't work it out. Anyway, I'll find out. I'll know on the next video. But yeah, that I'll put on the website, okay? So it's blendercube.co.uk. I'll upload it there so you can download it if you want. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. And we'll see you on the next video. Ta-da!